filmmaking done by Weta FX in collaboration with Mr. Peter Jackson. Over the years, they've brought you 7 Academy Award-winning films like Avatar, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, The Jungle Book, After the Way of Water, and of course, King Kong.
The audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Colin from this side and the T-Rexes from the other side. Open the movie, we always know people are looking straight ahead, they're looking at the shots that are working on. Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
All right, everyone, now get your cameras ready for some studio tour history. On your right are the runaway train and the collapsing bridge. The collapsing bridge was a mechanical effect that the trams used to cross. The hydraulic support beams would split and the bridge would seem to collapse. The runaway train was originally located in our western sets. It used to hurtle toward the tram and come to a screeching halt. Both are retired effects made for the studio tour 50 years ago.
Tour has changed over the years. Each generation has its favorite moments and memories, whether it's the rock slide or the ice tunnel.
Dad, really?
Who didn't love the ice tunnel?
Well, one thing that hasn't changed has been families sharing this one-of-a-kind behind-the-scenes adventure together.
How about picture card?
Oh, that we agree on.
There you go.
Thank you, Mayan and George Lopez, for that wonderful segue right into our next section of the tour, which is picture cars. Now, a picture car is any time a vehicle is used or seen in a TV show, a movie, a commercial, or a music video. We're actually riding on a picture car now, as our tram has been seen in several movies like Big Fat Liar, and TV shows like Will and Grace. On your left are some of our more famous picture cars. You can even say that most of these cars have become more famous than the actors who originally drove them. We have the Ferrari from Magnum PI, which is a bit of a fake. It's just the outside shell of a Ferrari. The inside engine is a Volkswagen engine. They realized during production that the Ferrari's engine made way too much noise and disrupted filming so much that they had to rebuild the car with a much smaller and quieter engine. We have some of our original hybrid vehicles from the Flintstones. A flying car from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the Ford Anglia, that's from Warner Brothers. And with some of our newest arrivals are from the Jordan Peele universe. It's a Fry's Electronics fan from Nope, and the Crawdaddy, the Wilson family boat from the movie Us, starring Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke. Now, of course, we had some of our Jurassic Park collection of cars, like the Gyrosphere, which was seen in Jurassic World, starring Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt. Now, dinosaurs are in our DNA here at Universal. They've been a part of the tour for 3 decades. We hardly have room in the paddock for our expanding collection. Now, I'm excited to tell you that the new era of the franchise will begin on July 2nd, 2025. Those dinosaurs sound a little restless in that paddock. We have a T-Rex just in time for our 60th anniversary. Jump scare, T-Rex, jump scare. Now, as we enter the Jurassic Forest, here's Chris Pratt to tell you a little bit more about this location.
This part of the studio tour was the greens department, where we keep real plants and trees that can be used as set dressings for TV shows and movies. Nowadays, it's where you can see many of the set pieces used in the Jurassic films, including some plants and trees, except these aren't.
Just like the dinosaurs around here.
At least,
I don't think the dinosaurs are real. Actually, there might be a few real ones around here, so just be on the lookout.
you know me.
I would never put you through a life-threatening situation without a life-saving tip. If ever a dinosaur is running at you, just put on a good pair of heels and run as fast as you can, like Bryce Dallas Howard in Jurassic World. Now we're heading into a classic attraction here on the back lot. Here to tell you about it is the Today Show co-host and weather anchor Al Roker.
Favorite part of the tour, weather. When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968. Welcome to the only part of the back lot with a 100% chance of rain. The flash flood.
Now we of course create that weather effect using high power sprinklers. It shoots the water straight up into the air. Then we have a technique called gravity, which lets it fall down, looking just like rain, like you saw with Al. Now of course, we can't only just use water for our films. We need some ambiance, some sound effects of the rumbling of the thunder, and the strobe lighting effects to create the lightning. And voila, we have created the perfect storm. Used in the film Big Fat Liar, starring Frankie Muniz, Amanda Bynes, and Paul Giamatti.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid! Yeah, we'll see about that.
Flash Mob was also seen in a music video for Lady Gaga called Judas. The area that we're coming in now, this is the drier side of Old Mexico, where we filmed movies like Three Amigos and Nacho Libre, and TV shows like Westworld, Picard, Quantum Leap, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. One of my favorite shows of all time. But now we're going to leave Old Mexico behind, head into the Old West. Welcome to 6 Points. 6 Points got its name because it has 6 different streets, each of which has its own bank, saloon, post office, and jail. It's like each street is its own little town. Now that came in handy when filming the westerns of the early days of the studio, because you could film up to 6 different westerns at one time. But how could you do that if each production was right next door to each other, making as much noise as they wanted? Well, it didn't really matter how much noise they were making. At the end of the day, the movies were silent. It was the silent movie era of film, so nobody heard a thing. These streets are heavily used in the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Quentin Tarantino, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie. The first shot of the film is a huge shot of our 6 Points area. Leonardo DiCaprio is having an interview with the interviewer on one of the porch steps. We actually got to use one of these sets. Most of these sets are just facades, so they're just fronts and sides of buildings, but we do have a practical set that was used in the film. It was used as a saloon in scenes with Luke Perry, Timothy Olyphant, and Leonardo DiCaprio. So it was cool to see a set that we don't ever get to see up close and personal on the tour in the movie, looking beautiful. Now in front of our tram, and as we pull around, it will be on the left-hand side of the tram, that body of water is what we call the Hollywood Ocean. Here in 1974, we added the parting of the Red Sea to the studio tour. Inspired by the classic film The Ten Commandments, a Paramount picture, the star of the movie, Charlton Heston, made an appearance to part the waters for our guest. The glamour tram seemed to drive right through the lake and give everyone on board a sea level view.
This tram is overloaded. Tell them they can walk on water. It's part of the tour.
There have also been exploding landmines, torpedoes, and prop submarines as part of the action in the lake. But we're not the only ones celebrating an anniversary this year. 2024 also marks the 70th anniversary of the 3D classic Creature from the Black Lagoon, which filmed here in our Hollywood Ocean. It's a part of of our legacy of horror films and monster movies that stretches from Dracula in 1931 to the upcoming Dark Universe at Universal Epic Universe, opening next year in Orlando. Now we're heading to one of my favorite spots on the back lot, the Little Europe section, where it all began. Little Europe is one of the most historical places out on our lot. So much has happened in this area, a lot of different types of movies. We did create the movie monster genre, and this is where it all began, as I said earlier. Now, the year was 1931, and the film was Frankenstein, one of the most important horror films ever created. That wasn't the only classic Universal horror film we filmed in this area. We also filmed The Wolfman, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy starring Boris Karloff, and Dracula starring Bela Lugosi. There were two versions of Dracula filmed here at the same time. The English language version was filmed during the day, and a Spanish language version was filmed at night using the same sets but different actors.
I am Dracula. Soy I never drink. Why? Yo nunca bebo.
Now, Little Europe also, it looks too good to be true now, and that's because it's also one of the big sets for The Good Place, starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. Now, in front of us is Soundstage 50. You may know that last year we closed the earthquake attraction that stood on this part of the lot for decades. We've made way for this new, unrivaled, state-of-the-art soundstage that is already in high demand. Yes, there is filming going on inside right now. You can tell by the wig-wag light, but more importantly by these signs that say, "Caution, filming in progress." But I have made some arrangements for us to check out a real working TV soundstage, TV and movie soundstage. So we're going to go inside and get a up-close and personal look at this soundstage that is all redesigned for us. Now, because of this arrangement that we've made with production to travel through the elephant doors to see what happens inside of a soundstage, I promised them that we would remain seated at all times, keeping those arms and legs inside the vehicle for everyone's safety on board. And of course, we don't want to disrupt any production or set pieces that we see alongside the tram. This set has just been decorated for a highly anticipated production bridge over troubled water. It's Hollywood's only two-level soundstage. Check out all the details. The first floor is completely decorated like a subway station. This is a hot set, meaning it is completely decorated, locked for picture, and ready for the director to call action on the set. Okay, well, I'm not the director. We're